Welcome back, guys, to the Canik Rival S Darkside 1000 round review. We have finally made it, finally crossed the round count for the 1000 round review. And apologies it took so long, but we're finally here and we can finally go over it. I'd like to go over kind of the durability, my reliability with it, some pros and cons, my recommendation for the gun, and then kind of a little surprise at the end, so please stick around. But first things first, 1K rounds review, how'd it do? Shot Blazer, Magtech, some Fiocchi, and then I shot this Monarch brand here, which is the Turkish manufacturer, not the Brazilian, which I think is the less desirable out of the two from what I've done research on. And unfortunately, I had one failure out of 1,000 rounds. Kind of not surprising. Again, this gun is kind of far from, stock. It is modified. I do have some reduced springs in here, but I bring it up because, well, the failure itself was kind of just weird. So the very last round on a Mekgar plus 2 extension, not the factory Mekgar mag that came with it, the very last round of this mag basically got stuck on the feed ramp and in between the slide. And I just found that odd because it has a reduced recoil spring, so the slide should have easily went all the way back, so that shouldn't have been the issue. And then B, I tried doing the tap rack, and that just did not work either. So it was stuck pretty good. And, can't really say it's the feed ramp either, I would think, because, again, it's fed 999 other rounds totally fine. So I don't know if it was maybe a slightly out of spec, round, or like the brass wasn't seated fully. I don't know if there was a previous low power round before it, and I don't know if it was this Mekgar mag just needing a little more break-in or something, or maybe even a stronger spring. Again, if anybody's got experience with that, please comment down below. I'd love to get some feedback on it because it was just very odd. The other factor that I should be honest with as well is the fact that I have not cleaned this gun. So I cleaned this gun once when I got it, and I have not cleaned it since. And the upgrades haven't added any oil. This gun is probably a little dry. I will be honest, but 999 rounds out of 1,000. I am pretty dang happy with that. And I just wanted to bring up that weird failure because I think that, again, I'm more used to stovepipes or failure to extracts. So just having that failure to feed was just kind of odd, especially being the last round of the magazine. Anyways, so moving on, I'd kind of like to go into the pros and the cons. Obviously, the pro is that the value of this gun is absolutely absurd for what you get. Pro being that you get an amazing trigger right out of the box. You get a steel frame, which is a huge gap in the market because their only other competition in this kind of category would be the Walther PDP Pro, and that obviously is in a price tag that is almost doubled 3 times what this one sits in. On top of that, you get a full box of accessories straight out of with the gun, filled with optics mounts for every kind of optic there is, a magwell, various magazine release extensions, all kinds of goodies, a holster, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some other things, but basically half the value of the gun itself just in accessories. So that's all the pros. Now I do want to get into some of the cons because if anybody's on the fence or anybody wants some serious time or opinion on some decent time behind the gun, I shouldn't say serious. There were some people pushing insane rounds on these. But I think there are some things to bring up. I think I've been mostly positive of this gun, and if I had to give it a rating out of 10, I would easily give it an 8, an 8.5. I think it's an insanely good gun, valuable, accurate, good trigger, most things you want in a firearm in general. But the cons, I think, are worth mentioning, and I'll get into the first one, which is probably the most obvious look if you're looking at it. The grip. The grip, to me, was very slippery. So I have a combination of handle-it grips here with some lock G10 grips as well, and this fixes that problem for me, but it is an additional expense and something you should consider. Unfortunately, the front checkering on the front strap isn't extended out, so it's recessed into the frame itself, which means you don't really actually get that much grip slash texture on there. So that's kind of mildly disappointing there, and I think that's one of the biggest issues I have with it. Also, a little bit more texture up top here for when I'm actually placing the palm swell of my hand here is actually really helpful with these handle-it grips, and it's otherwise very smooth up here. But yeah, I think that is something worth considering. I think it is something that I replace kind of immediately because I think it is the biggest factor that helped me shoot this gun better. The red dot being the second, just because red dots are just easier for me to shoot. Now, second con, which I think is also a pretty big one, and I don't think gets talked about a lot, but replacement barrels. There aren't any. There isn't any in the aftermarket. There isn't any from the manufacturer. And I think that's kind of a shame because, unfortunately, you know, accidents happen. If you drop the gun, if you accidentally ding your barrel or something, you know, you're kind of SOL. You might be able to get some warranty work. You might be able to reach out to Canik themselves. They might be able to help out. But just not being able to have access to a secondary barrel, I think is kind of a bummer. Yes, it can last 30 to 50k rounds, depending on what you're shooting, how you're using it, etc. But again, I think accidents happen, or people just want to, you know, try porting a barrel or playing around with it, maybe doing a machine cut or a crown on the front of it, whatever. You know, I think having access to another barrel is kind of a huge deal. So I do want to kind of bring that up because I don't think people talk about it very much. Third thing, and I don't want to harp on this too much, the value has to come from somewhere, but I will bring it up, build quality. And I'll kind of demonstrate you the build quality right now. She is a bit rattly, which is fine. Again, the price point, what you're getting, just kind of how it's made, it's expected. I'm not really surprised. Some corners had to get cut somewhere, and it's a bit in the build quality section. It's the slide to frame fitment. It is a little bit, you know, rattly. The frame itself is molded. It's not it's not cut or anything like that. Machined. You can even see the mold line here, and there's kind of pitting from the sand or the molds itself on now covered up by the handle-it grips. But in previous videos, I kind of call that out too. So. Not the most pretty thing in terms of craftsmanship, but my God, does it not matter because, man, I can easily hit stuff at 15, 20 yards with this thing repeatedly. So it doesn't affect accuracy, doesn't affect performance. It's just going to be, you know, just a handling thing. It's really not that big of a deal, but I do bring it up because, you know, are there probably nicer fit guns out there? Absolutely there are. But for the value to performance you get from this thing, it's just insane. It really actually is. And in fact, it's so insane that I bought another one. So I do this sometimes where if I like a gun enough, I like to have a second one just in case, you know, I'll put less mileage on it, kind of hold it in the safe a little bit more. And this one just also so happened to have a different colored version that I could go with. So I actually went with the chrome version. And it actually brings up some interesting things. One, on that build quality, I'm not insane because this is a unfired gun and it rattles too. So I assume that will also loosen up over time. And here again, you can kind of see sort of the sand casting marks or whatever it is that they're using. There's that mold line again. Again, I'm not really too upset about it. It is what it is. You know, the value has to come from somewhere. The second thing I want to bring attention to is, my God, this gun is so much prettier in person than it is on the pictures or in any of the videos I've seen. I mean, it is just much nicer looking in person. So I actually am kind of shocked because I went with the Darkside because I thought this was too flashy or I didn't really like it. But man, holding it in my hands now, I actually really, really like it. And the other crazy thing I want to bring up or bring attention to is the trigger. So Somebody in the comments let me know, because this trigger started off at 4.5 pounds, and then, you know, through shooting it, which was probably the biggest change, it lightened to about a consistent 4 pounds, and it has not changed. 1,000 rounds later, this is still at 4 pounds. This gun, unfired, completely unfired, and I want to show you because I had to test it just out of curiosity's sake, but I needed to demonstrate this on camera because maybe this is where some of the confusion on the internet is. If I can get that correctly, sometimes it's hard with this. There we go. That should be it. Yeah. There you go. I am just sub 4 pounds, almost 3.5 pounds. And again, not a single round has been fired from this thing yet. So I don't know if it is the chrome version just has a lighter trigger, or if it's just luck of the draw. Try to repeat that. Yeah, that one is exactly at 3.5. So I'm already half a pound down compared to the Darkside, and I haven't shot it. I mean, if this actually reduces any more, like the half pound this one did, I mean, that'll be 3-pound trigger, which will be kind of crazy. So that is actually kind of exciting. So I will definitely be taking more of a look at that, probably be making channel updates with it as well. But yeah, if anybody who has, you know, a couple different rivals or a couple rival S's, let me know. Is it luck of the draw? Is the chrome just slightly better? You know, this one being more of a, aimed at more of a duty weapon or something, versus this one being more of a, you know, obviously the competition flashier version. I don't know. Yeah, but I'd like to hear you guys' feedback on it. Second thing you might notice, yes, I already changed out the grip on this. Haven't even shot it. I just knew I was going to need it. And I went a different route and did the lock metal grips. Probably have a little bit of a video on that too, but spoiler alert, if you want the most aggressive grip for this gun, get the metal ones, either the brass or the aluminum. They have the same texture. But my God, this stuff almost feels like it's going to cut you, and somehow it doesn't. It's honestly exceptional. I don't think I'm even going to put handle-it grips on it because of how much friction how much this bites into your hand. Anyways, that's going to be it for me today. 1K round review, great firearm, insane value. Definitely recommend it. Leave your questions and comments down below, and thanks for watching. If you like this video, you know, consider liking it, subscribing. Really helps me out, really helps the channel out. You know, just trying to get it to grow and see what happens. But thanks for following along. Have a good rest of your day.